Push start. I push start.
You already pushed start?
Mhm.
Good. Did it say, did you hear it say begin recording?
Mm-mm.
I did.
I heard it.
You heard it? Okay.
It should be
I'm not
recording.
here.
I just wanted to make sure. How'd you get it to be bigger last night?
It'll come in a minute.
Oh, okay.
There.
Yeah,
There.
there you go. Okay.
I would make a motion to accept the minutes from the September meeting.
All in favor? Okay, so we're gonna, get Bryce and he wants to go last. And so then we're not on a time thing and people are sitting here waiting, so, we'll go ahead and start with Dwayne.
Let's start with Landon, because I'm probably gonna talk longer than he is.
Okay, all right, Lyndon?
First thing going on, a few projects that we took care of, a lot of painting. One of the bigger projects that was done was painting the east bathroom at the main park. Along with, all the equipment and everything, trying to knock that out. As far as stuff coming up and what we've recently done, we just started taking apart the splash pad, to winterize that. That should be done here tomorrow or the next couple days. Other than that, just random things like helping with the chili cook-off a little bit. Over by Nubiano's on 9th and Rain Street, we installed a new fence, thanks to Ed. Helped out quite a bit there. Then we also put a bike rack and a bench over on Raisin 9th as well. And we just started prepping for the placement of the Santa house on Centennial Park. And other than that, I think Dwayne's gonna cover the rest. So
So what was wrong with the doors?
it wasn't lashing correctly.
Oh, okay,
It wasn't crazy.
gotcha.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. Just to add to what Landon had there, so the White House, the fire department is gonna finish up whatever training they've got this week, and so I contacted the contractor that's gonna tear the White House down and told him that he could start after this week. So after this week, at some point in time, he's gonna get in there and get that taken down. The climbing wall has been delivered for the pool, and also the new diving board has been received. So we have those ready to install for this next season. The tile at the pro shop was taken up and carpet tiles put down by the house decor. That was done last week. A new front door at the pool was installed by Rochester Glass this last week as well. So we now have a commercial double door there instead of the residential type door that was there before. Let's see. Work on the park drive project has started. E&B was in this past week and installed 3 dry wells in a couple of places that we would have potential for some water issues, and they're trying to juggle a lot. We've got 4 different projects here in town that they're working on, and so it's been kind of a juggle to get whether concrete guys or they're paving people in. But at any rate, they were going to start this week on scraping out where the parking area is, but then that got pushed back to next week. So next week they'll be back in there. They're going to take 10 inches of dirt out where the parking is now and where the new parking will be. And then they're going to put stone down, and then they'll put their base blacktop and put finish on top of that. So that will be starting next week. Walking path, okay, so he talked about that. JC Park, this weekend, the porta pot got knocked over and they TP'd the park. Landon got that squared away, and then I called Service Sanitation. I had them pick it up. It was about the end of the season anyway for it, so I just had them pick it up and get it out of there. And then the last thing, we had an excess dump truck for the street department. It was a 2015, so I swapped that with a 2000 dump truck that we had at the park. So we've got a 10-year-old truck for the park instead of a 25-year-old. So that's all I have there. I do have, Beth just gave it to me, and you've seen us, this capital expenditure or capital, what's the correct term, but
Planning.
capital planning as far as our major purchases for the different parts of the park. For the pool, what we're looking at is, we talked about this before about replacing the roof and fascia and all that. We're looking at, right now, the plan is to do that in year 3, which would be 2028. We're looking at roughly 25,000 for that. Since the pool liner is usually on like a 10-year cycle, we plan on a new liner at 100,000. And the filtration unit, that has service requirements, and we're planning on that in year 7, which is 35,000. And that will include replacing the fingers, the filter fingers, and some other service work that they'll do with it. So we're looking at over the 10-year period, 160,000 expenditure there that will get broken down out of our annual budgets. We'll take out so much every year to put towards that. So when these things come up, then we'll have that money available to do that. Same way with golf maintenance. Of course, Anthony has the largest list of equipment that we have for the parks. The total expenditures, and I'm not going to go through the full list, but as far as all of the equipment and all that, over a 10-year period, we're looking at almost 1.2 million in replacements that we're planning on. And so that comes out to roughly, what is this? 117,000 a year that we'll have to set back to cover those costs as they come up for the golf maintenance. The other piece of that too was improvements. We're looking at in the future a new maintenance building. I think we planned on, what was that? That we've planned on $100,000 right now that we're looking at. I believe that's right. I'm sorry, 80,000 just for the building. And I think we were looking at around the 5-year mark. So we'll have that as far as, other than equipment, that would be under buildings. For the city park, we're looking at a capitalization on our equipment of 427,000 over the next 10 years. So that's a capitalization of roughly 42,000. I'm sorry, 43, almost 44,000 a year that we'll have to put back to cover costs for equipment replacement. And that's like lawnmowers, trucks, that sort of thing. So that's all I have. Unless you have any questions about any of that.
The boiler, do you think is it in pretty good shape?
Boiler, right now the boiler is, we just went through all that this year. We had boiler company out of Fort Wayne that came through and went through it, replaced both gas valves, replaced some sensors, and then did an inspection on it. And, you know, we've already got a new certification. It's good for 2 years. So at this point, actually, that's a good point. We can add that to that because at some
Yeah.
point we're gonna have to replace that boiler.
Yeah, I mean, we don't use it that much, but I'm figuring probably just sitting there with chemicals that goes through it and stuff like that, that, I know you and I talked about that before. And on that maintenance building, is that, gonna have like a bathroom in it and heat and air conditioning or
Yeah.
whatever? That will be their main building?
Well, it won't have air conditioning in it, but at least the office area would, but the rest of it wouldn't.
Then the other building, we just keep and use it for storage?
Right.
And then you talked about maybe blacktopping it, cause it's so.
Yep. And black topping and dry. Actually, Beth can attest to that. Rode on it today. I took Beth around to show her some of the different things we have going on, and we stopped at the maintenance building and we talked about that as well. Kind of have a picture when we start talking about monies for different things, where these things are at.
It was a very enlightening tour that we took, so. I had no clue that we had that much parkland. So,
I don't know, do you guys have any questions for him? Okay. All right. Lori, I forgot to put you on there, but did you have anything? I know it's still closed, but I thought maybe you might have something. Okay, all right. Okay, Jessica,
Right, aside from just social media posts, the posts and different stuff like that, I've been working on Light Up the Park. I gave everybody a copy, there's one at the top from for you. Finalized the details, we started putting everything out. I did talk to Hannah at the Community Foundation, and there is a grant we can apply for. I just need help from you from you guys to help me itemize a list, because it's mostly gonna be for like new lights or lights for the Light Up the Park. So pavilion lights, or what do we want for the center? Cause I actually found a website that had some really cool stuff. So I sent a link to all you guys of different stuff, but we need to make a list and have everything ready. Probably the due date for the grant is the 29th, because their next meeting is the 30th,
29th of
October. And I have it pretty much all written. So I just need to send it to you guys. So I just need you guys to finalize what it is, the list of what you guys want to apply for, and then the number, and then we can send it in. So we have 2 weeks to
So,
finalize it.
so you're saying that we actually have to pick out the things so they know what we're.
Not necessarily, I thought it might be helpful if we had
Right.
certain things, or maybe a certain types of lights. Or maybe be specific of budget wise, lighting's going this amount, whatever, candy, something like that. Or even when I thought about putting like signage on there, like putting a marketing budget for printing posters and the signs, something like that, if you guys wanted to do that.
Okay.
So I just need help from you guys to help finalize that, and we could work on that this coming week, because we have 2 weeks, and Tammy's actually gone over the grant already to check any edits, and she does editing, so she checked all of that. But I just need to make sure it's what you guys want, and the number that we can apply for up to 25,000. But I don't think that's what we need for Light Up the Park specifically, so that's why I think we need to get an itemized list of, because it's asking that on the grant. I sent that link out to you guys so you can look what the grant is, and yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can call me or anything like that too. It's called, I just didn't have it up.
Real quick, how much did you spend last year on advertising, and you put it in the paper, didn't you? I believe it.
Yeah, I can't remember how much it was. So I know the signs were 18 a piece, and there were about 5 of those. I don't think the posters were more than maybe $100. So really, I did get a quote for, or Tammy got the quote for Shopper's Guide, and we have WRR quote. So if we wanted to put that kind of stuff in there as a, an ask as part of the itemized list is marketing.
So 500 to be realistic.
Yeah, and I don't think we even spent that much on even
That'd be-
extra lights and stuff, so. Yeah, 500 would be plenty as far as Shopper's Guide, WRY, printing posters.
We talked about maybe having popcorn or,
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, like having like supply fees, you know, like candy or popcorn or whatever you guys end up, you know, wanting to do for up at that pavilion, whatever was easy, different kinds of candy, you know, stuff like that.
Should
so.
we separate, should we separate like consumables like that from reusables or not? Just
Let me see what the list.
because we can reuse the lights if we get them, we can use them
Mhm.
every year, which was kind of your point of getting some nicer, you know,
Okay.
sturdier outdoor.
So examples I wrote down were reusable pavilion lighting, reusable lighted trees or decorations for this, any type, anywhere in the park. Candy, popcorn and supplies, just in case you need baggies or, you know, stuff like that. Any type of electrical and setup supplies if we need more extension cords or anything like that. And then marketing, printing and signage was a separate budget. So those are just 6 itemized items I put in, but we can change them or add or anything like that. So I just need numbers from you guys and specifics of what you want. So I can resend this as well. So you guys can look at it, because I wasn't able to print it all out, but the grant could be done by the 29th for sure. And you guys can all read over it and make sure what you want and all of that too, so.
do you know what REMC or RTC are planning to do?
Not yet. They do want to do something. She was out when I sent out the email to everybody, so I'm just waiting for her to get back. It looked like she was gonna be gone for a little bit.
Okay.
So on the back of this, all these businesses have been contacted already, because I either knew them or they're ones we already worked with last year. So I went ahead and either by email or personal, and then we can add to this list. So if you guys have ideas or want to go talk to somebody or, you know, want someone else to be the spokesperson, you can either send it to me or send it to Kim, and I can keep adding to this list so people aren't getting contacted twice. But everybody on here so far has been contacted, so anybody else within, that's not, you know, that hasn't seen it on Facebook or anything like that, hasn't been directly contacted. We haven't pushed it too much just because Halloween's still coming,
Right.
but at least it got out and people have applied to be sponsors, so as far as decorating and are asking questions, so we'll push it a little bit more beginning of November. But at the next meeting, I will ask the board to what task you guys can help with. So if who can hand out flyers, who can, you know, get applications, or, you know, who can go, if everybody can be at the event, you know, whatever kind of tasks that we need to do, or find volunteers to do some of those things.
Okay. Did you contact is that on there?
No, you called me and said you were gonna contact them because they might have the popcorn machine as well, if that was
Right,
where we were
okay.
gonna go.
All right, I'll add that to it. then. I know she wanted to do something this year, so I'll get with her and, yeah, and the Ramco thing, we just need to take that one off.
Okay.
Now, were we still, my only question is, were we still planning on being there at the park where they enter and handing the stuff out there?
Well, I was kind of wondering what RTC and REMC was gonna do, you know, they're gonna do another tunnel or, you know? I think that was fun. Are you?
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, if we're talking about pavilion number 1, people's gonna have to park and get out, or it's gonna be, you know, it was nice going in there, that way people can stop and it's not interfering with the flow of traffic. And it's kind of nice that they did stop to give other people time to get around the loop and go. So I
We can
thought-
designate tasks, you know, for that
Right.
day, who could do what, who can stand where, and then if the big pavilion has stuff going on, we can get volunteers also. So we just need to kind of come up with a list of, you know, if you want people to stand up there, we'll have, you know, I'll stand, you know, you stand up there, this person stands up there, or whatever, so. We can just designate it. Assign tasks and volunteers and. But if you got, I think because the new parking will be done, so it won't be the first pavilion, it'd be the big pavilion people would be parking at.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm wondering, like, let's say if there's a Santa Claus up there, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many cars could park and go up to the big
Right.
pavilion? I mean, there's not a whole lot of parking in that area, where if there was 30 cars gonna.
Sure.
park and
So-
go up.
Okay, would it be too difficult to have a parking event like that?
Well, there will be additional parking once this project's done. So there'll be parking like on the east or on the west side, basically from Manitou Mountain all the way down to the turn.
Okay,
Just one little area that's blocked out for grass. So you'll have all that, and then there'll be additional, and then after you turn the corner, then there'll be more, probably about another 15 parking spaces there at the south end of Pavilion One on both sides of the sidewalk. So, and then on the other side, facing the softball diamond, you'll have parking there too. So, yeah, there should be plenty of parking, I would think.
okay.
Yeah, I think as long as we get everybody through the tunnel, you know, and around a little bit. And then if someone is standing up there, if there's getting too many people cluttered, we can have people directing traffic a little bit. So we could kind of just have, you know, people out there, just so it's not getting, everybody's not getting all crazy, especially with new parking, people that might not know where everything is, and
So,
so we can
I
kind
mean, the way that they're gonna go, is that 13th Street?
Yeah,
Okay, so then it's gonna be just a one, okay, so they're gonna come back out on 13th Street. So if they do something there, we need to make sure that, you know,
of a designated station, so I can work on that.
so the cars going out and the cars go in, there's gonna be enough.
you could have if you wanted to have a place where they stop to hand out, if you did it farther up, like where it tees, if just beyond that, because
Okay.
you're not gonna have any other traffic coming the other direction.
Okay.
And that would that would make it clear for the traffic coming out. So, yeah,
Well, you know, giving it out like we did last year, that just slows everybody down. So they're not gonna be jammed up, you know,
Right.
so.
Okay, good job. Okay. Okay, we're ready for race.
Yes.
Again, kind of we did this last time. Let me grab this TV. By chance,
Pardon?
can I use your guys' TV?
Yeah.
How do I do? Well, we did that. We did last time, I believe.
I will try. Not gonna make it guaranteed. Is there people?
Well, remember some of the. We can use this.
Reading like it was. Can we hook it into here?
So it don't matter if nobody else will see it.
And do it.
Laptop, but-
That's that, but I read that came like again here. I thought that was a different cable.
Or wherever you need
I
it.
guess we need to decide if.
How did,
How we did it last time.
Well, the problem was when the people came in,
if you
they took.
stole our cable,
Oh, okay. Well,
we're trying to get it back.
it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I can show them everything I was
Yeah.
gonna show them off just my
I
laptop.
have
and They
to-
can just pass it around.
Think you're-
If that's okay with you
Think you're
guys.
half.
Sorry about that.
No big deal.
We just discovered.
So, hopefully everybody's here last time I was here. I'm Bryce Sheets. I'm with Play Pros. Kim and I have probably talked 15, 20 times since I came and visited you guys last. And she's asked me to come back out again and just tell you guys some more about your guys' playgrounds. And so this time I was actually able to, let's pull this up. This is- work. There you go. So I got together with, said you guys were looking at doing some playground equipment, and then you're also looking to do a workout station. And you guys had somebody come in and present something like that. So I wanted to show you just a few different designs that we did. So this is one of the playgrounds at Manitou Mountain that we did. As you can kind of see, we did workout equipment around the perimeters of it. And so here's your 5 to 12 structure, and this is your 2 to 5 area. And so what that does is it allows the parents who don't have a ton of time, but they want to bring their kids to the park. They can take them out there. They can let their kids play on this 2 to 5 structure to 5 to 12, and they can still do their workouts while they're watching their kids play. So they're not off in a separate section while kids are over there trying to play. They can still keep an eye on their kids while they're riding around, doing either, you know, we have a squat machine here. We have a chest press. there's a pull-up bar, there's ellipticals, there's a stair climber. So we kind of hit quite a few different activities, and we put them on both sides of the park. That way, you're not just limited to being over there by the small kids. If you have older kids, you could be over there on that side as well. This footprint here is the same. It's actually about 2,000 square foot smaller than what Manitou Mountain is. So as you can see here, this is I can send this all to you guys so you can see the renderings. This is our newest tower we had this year, the Volo Air. It's about a 30-foot tall tower, and it's got an accessible pathway all the way to the top of it. So it has a over 20-foot slide right here. The closest any of our other competitors get with an accessible slide, 8 foot. So we've gone over 12 foot higher than what everybody else can get to. We utilize the FlexNet, which I believe I maybe showed you guys last time. I can pull out my samples again if you guys would like to see any of our physical samples again. I can get those back out and show you those. And so that has a path that goes all the way up and angled, as well as having pathways up to the center. That way they don't ever feel like they're in the way, right? I'm in there. I'm a good sized guy. Ed's a good sized guy. He could be up inside there. Actually, if you had a grandkid up there or something, he's going to go up there to get him. We can still fit inside this structure and get them down. I've been in some playgrounds where I have to twist and contort, and by the time I get out, I have to go to the chiropractor. Luckily, my brother's one, so that makes my favor sometimes. But this structure is very nice. You can see all the way through it. There's perforations all through here, so you can see all the way up. And then this recycled plastic lumber up top is slatted, so you can still look through. So the kids, they're almost 30 feet in the air, and they're being able to get a whole entire 360-degree view of their park and their surroundings, which is just really awesome. And as you're looking down through it, it's all netting. So it looks like you're looking all the way straight to the ground, right? So it's like you go up into the Eiffel Tower or whatever you're looking at, and you want to look down and you get your hands get all sweaty. That's what they're going to get just as a child growing up in Rochester, right? Which is pretty awesome. You don't get that height that you can get really anywhere, but they're getting it that way through playground. One of the great things about that is it's called perceived risk, and that does wonders for children. They're going to start on that, and they're not going to be able to get to the top of it. They're going to be too petrified. Luckily, there's plenty of different slides. There's different ways to get down from there. The next time they go up it, they might be a little bit more courageous, and they get a little bit further, and then they're really proud of themselves because they made it to that next point. This allows you to be able to have a playground structure that's not going to get boring for kids over time. One thing's with, you see a lot of vandalism and stuff. That's just because kids are bored and they don't have anything else to do, right? We find that the more you give them activities that are really fun and exciting and thrilling and engaging, you don't really have as many of those problems. It's also why I included the Hedra Scout. The Hedra Scout is my favorite 2 to 5 structure. It is the only 2 to 5 structure that you'll see 5 to 12-year-olds wanting to play on. And it is, let me pull it up here. I think here. So this structure right here. And I kind of, yeah. So we have one of these. We have several of these around. I can show you guys more pictures of it. This mimics, it has a climber inside the Volo Air. And that's the reason why I chose this. It looks exactly like it has the same shape. There's another side of it. So this is called a Global Motion. It's a spinner as well as a climber, right? So kids can climb all over the outside of that. It has a nice entry point down low, so you could transfer out of your wheelchair and just sit on that bottom and be a part of all the play. You're not going to wheel your wheelchair into it like we would with our We-Go-Round, but it is an awesome climbing structure. You have the Cozy Dome along with the Mobius Climber. Both very fun structures to climb to, and they're functionally linked with pod steppers and balance beam. So I really tried to hit all of the different the key functions in the playground. You really want to have sliding, you want to have climbing, you want to have balancing, and spinning. So yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm the ADA coordinator.
Yes.
How are handicapped children supposed to be getting anything out of a 20-foot slide?
So I can show you.
I'm just curious. I mean,
so
is there
there's
a
an
section for them?
accessible pathway that gets all the way to the top of it. So
Okay.
while they might not be able to get their wheelchair up there, John, he's got 2 prosthetic legs. He's in a wheelchair. He's wheelchair bound, but he can transfer himself out of a wheelchair. He has upper body strength. If you have the upper body strength, you can get to the top of that. And there's plenty of places to stop off and rest, right? You're not going to be blocking the pathway for all the kids trying to get to the top, and then you'll feel like you're a burden and you're in the way. We don't want that feeling at all. So what LSI does is they created the junior play team, and it's a group of disabled kids that they get together and they come and test out all their equipment. And so they have them go into these towers. They tell them what they like and what they don't like. And I can even show a quick video about that. Say it's off
I didn't mean to
good for my
railroad the
phone.
thing, but I just was concerned when you were
So
talking.
yeah,
about
so,
those things.
and I can show you guys, I can send you guys a link to look at a virtual interior view of this structure. So, you know, like when you have, maybe you're looking on Zillow and you click on somebody, it takes you to the kitchen and you can look all around it. And then you have another button you can click and it takes you over to the living room and you can see all that. We have those for this. So you can go to all of the different levels and you can see all the different play features inside there. And you can see the pathway that kids can take to get all the way to the top. And it's really nice too as a parent, because maybe you don't want to have to go through and try to climb up. You can just walk along the perimeter of that tower and it weaves up and you'll just get right up to the top that way. And so there's a couple different options. This one was a two slide. We have a 3 slide that has another 18-foot slide that comes off of it as well. And based off of, let me see. I'm just going to show you the layout. So this is, you can kind of see the jagged line. That's Manitou Mountain outline. So when I went out there and took a measure of the site, that is where your current bordering is. This green layout is kind of the shape that we decided to take with it. So you can see that that's the footprint that this would take up. So like she said, we don't know what the whole site is going to be exactly. So I just wanted to go with what we already knew was going to be there, and we could shrink it down a little bit if we wanted to change out equipment. By all means, this is our first rendition of it, and this is just stuff that I just had thrown together that I really like. We could take out, you know, the Global Motion, and that's a $38,000 piece. We could put in an Omni Spinner, which is $8,000. So we could save $30,000 instantly, and it takes up the same space. So there's ways to do this, and there's ways to get the cost down. This was $624,000 worth of equipment in this playground equipment, which would be about a $1.2 million in a rough estimate. I did not have time to get the full turf quote and everything for this, but it would be between 1 and 1.2, depending on the pieces that we decided to go with. So on top of that, I had done, let's see. So we had talked a little bit about maybe discussing a bit about your parks and bringing them up to code. And I think that we did a safety inspection. Nick did. He was CPSI certified at the time. I just now this last week went and did my CPSI training. And so I'm waiting. I have another couple weeks until I get my certification back. And then I'm legally allowed to go out and give recommendations on playgrounds. Currently, I'm not able to do that. That being said, I can still point out things that should be kept up to code. And I was gone this weekend, and right after that class, you have everything fresh in your mind, what it shouldn't be. And I went someplace with my kids, and it was everything that you should not have on a playground. And my wife was like, you cannot come back here with me because you're going to drive me nuts. There's 50 kids out here. He's fine, you know? And I'm just thinking, you know, I am, but like this shouldn't be there and that shouldn't be that way and that shouldn't be that way. And if something happened to him, Lord, I'd kill myself, you know, like I would just hurt myself over this. And she's like, you can't come back. Her and her sister went back the next time. And about an hour later, I see him coming back and my kid comes running up. And he's like, Daddy, look. And I just want to show you guys a quick picture of him. Because my wife was holding her mouth. She was like, you're right. Stuff can happen in a blink of an eye. And he fell off of a kid was walking past and got knocked off of one of the decks. And he fell directly onto pea gravel. As you can see on his forehead, he has all the marks of the pea gravel. And he's still happy and smiling. But he got knocked off and he landed on his feet first, and it still went down to his head. And that's still the bump that he got from that. The deck was about 10 foot tall, and pea gravel is only a 5-foot critical fall height. I could have lost my son. Now, I don't know what I would do if something like that happened, right? And so I'll get in tears thinking about something like that happening, let alone to somebody else's kid. So in CPSI training, the number one injury in a playground is falls. And that could have ended my kid's life. And if I wasn't, I would have not been a good person anymore for the rest of my life if something like that really happened to him. And so I can't imagine that happened to somebody else. And if I know it and anything I can do about it, that's why I'm out to try to talk about people, right? And to try to make playgrounds safe for kids. It's not about anything else besides just making sure I want somebody to be able to go do a safe thing with their family, not inside playing video games, getting out and being able to do a fun family activity together. And so that's really what CPSI standards are for. The ASTM standards is they just want to make it so that there are little to no deaths on a playground, right? They want to limit your big problems with kids getting hurt, right? And I get a little bit frustrated just thinking about something like that happening to him. The other good thing about that is when you think about a kid getting hurt, what's going to happen with that? Lawsuits. There's been tons of them throughout the history. They had, in like a 10-year period, there was over 240,000 kids hospitalized due to falling and getting themselves hurt on playgrounds. The number one killer is going down slides and entangling your hood like a drawstring, and you strangle to death. There's 34 kids that passed away from being strangled to death. And from the number one is the slides. The second one is swings, getting entangled in swings. That being said, that's going to cost you a lot of money from a lawsuit. Some of these that I have shared with Kim, they're millions of dollars. There's some that are $23 million. There's some that are $20 million. And they have named off, one was in an HOA, and now nobody in that HOA can sell their home because nobody wants to move into that place because they're all stuck with this bill of $20 million. And it was because a swing collapsed and hit a kid in the head and killed him. And it's just so unfortunate for something like that to happen. And so we really want to try to prevent those. So that's why they have the standards that they want to go by. And that's why we really try to stick to them. On the flip side of this, on a bit more positive note, this one here is really one of the reasons why I think it makes a really good sense to just go ahead and redo your playgrounds and bring them up to code, not only because you don't want to see a kid get hurt. I heard you guys have quite a bit on your guys' plan for your budget for many years to come. Right here is a total cost. So this was a town that they went through and redid all of their playgrounds. They did in 2005, 31 playgrounds. They were over $2 million in playground equipment. Years of service, they were in for 16 years. The total replacement and repair across all of the playgrounds, 31 playgrounds for 16 years, $4,370 is what they spent on repairing their playground equipment. So that cost the customer per year, $312.16. Cost the customer 0.21% is what that cut for upkeep. So my main thing, what I'm thinking about is you're going to get everything replaced and you're not going to have to worry about it, right? Kim and I have kind of talked, and we've all kind of talked. She's really wanting to lean towards doing a turf surfacing, which I think is phenomenal because our equipment is so high quality and the turf is so high quality. It's like a set it and forget it for 20 years, right? Now, granted, we want to be checking on it, but our equipment is so high quality and the turf is that this is something that you guys can be able to put in and you guys are going to be at peace of mind that you guys are going to be up to code. You're not going to have anybody getting hurt. If you have turf laid down, you don't have to have the maintenance team having to go out there and constantly worry about respreading and removing, making sure that the wood fiber is all spread out evenly, and that you have your nice impact continuation the entire time. Because sometimes when you have wood fiber, places like that, you have swings where kids will kick it out and then all of a sudden there's just dirt there. Kid can fall back and hit the head right on the dirt and then they're hurt. Same thing with, one of the kids, they had engineered wood fiber and in the middle of winter, the kid was out it was at a school and he fell off the side of a slide and he fell onto about 1 inch of frozen wood fiber and he hit his head and it killed him. And so then the school got sued for $23 million. And that was because there was not the proper safety surfacing. And truthfully, engineered wood fiber doesn't work great in the middle of winter when there's wet, like when it's really wet, right? Because it just freezes together and it basically becomes like a concrete. Whereas if you have like a turf, it's been wet tested So it still has its impact and continuation, even when it's cold and frozen like that. So,
Are you talking about a surface that gives that squishy?
yes. So the turf that we have would have a foam pad underneath it would be able to give, right? It's not going to be waterlogged and then freezing together, and then you're basically just hitting concrete, right? So that's just another really good benefit. Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons that I liked the turf so well was that I went around and looked at different playgrounds that had the poured in place, you know? And, once they vandalize it, it's just like, I mean, and that stuff is really thick. And I know the companies can come back and fix it, but it will never look the same. It will
Right.
show a patch where that's why I like the turf, because you can cut it out, replace it, and it still looks like brand new.
Right.
I like the
Right.
poured.
The port in place doesn't last nearly as long. It has a 5-year warranty, and the turf has a 15. And they're not that much cost difference. We say just for good budgetary numbers, $20 a square foot for port in place, $25 a square foot for your turf. So getting a 3 times the warranty for $5 extra, to me, it's a no brainer. And not only on top of that, the turf is going to run about 20 to 30 degrees cooler in the summer. Because when you think about port in place, it's half black and half a color. So that black is just absorbing a lot of heat. And if you've ever been on one without shade, it gets very hot. And if you do find a playground that has port in place, you'll look where the shade's at, and that's where everybody's kind of congregated. Port in place is great when you want to do designs. If you really want to have like a really over the top design that has like the yellow brick road and big large suckers and flowers and stuff like that, you can do really cool elaborate designs much cheaper than you can do so I said less costly than you can do with turf, right? Because turf is basically like a roll of carpet. And you're gonna have to pay for whatever you don't use, even because you have a triangle room, you're still gonna have to roll off that big square carpet and cut it off and do that. Whereas port in place, they just pour enough for that square footage. So there's less waste. So there's the benefits with that. But in the end, I definitely recommend the turf if we're gonna go with a unitary surface like that, for sure.
I just wanted you guys to know that's why I mean, I went to one park and that poured in place, it was really thick too. And
Mhm.
maybe it was because the wet toy was right next to it, but it was awful whole, just really nasty
And
looking.
that's one of the things too, is like port in place, if kids start picking at it, it's one of those things, it seems like they just really like to do that. And then they just start picking at it and picking at it. And then you also might have kids who like to eat the rubber granules. And so it's just best. I personally don't want my kid eating rubber granules. The turf comes with a sand infill, so it doesn't have rubber on it.
Okay. I didn't.
So it depends, I guess. I shouldn't say that. We like to use the sand. You can do crumb rubber infill, but we like to use the sand. It keeps it cooler yet.
Okay.
So yeah, really that's that. I want to show you guys that part in this. Ask if there's any questions from you guys.
Is there an example of that around the region that you just described, the turfs?
The turf? Yeah.
Yeah.
We have some in Kokomo. I just did some at Bonavista. I could send you a bunch of different places. I'll have to find out which ones we have local, like really close to you guys here. Because I've done a handful recently, but most of them are like around Fort Wayne, and Galveston has some turf there. It's not too far from here, only like 30 minutes or so. They have a we go round there with turf. They have the ultra turf, yeah, but just north of Kokomo. But they have ultra, which is like it's it's Forever Lawn, but it's the ultra line of our turf. It's very nice. They had the new one. I think when I brought the box out last time, you guys really liked the Quest line. So that one wasn't there, but it's still one of our turfs. You can go out there and see it, feel it, see another piece of equipment. So we go around. So that's like a wheelchair accessible merry-go-round, basically. So you can wheel yourself into it, and then you can actually spin yourself about inside of it. And it's a very nice piece, very nice inclusive piece. And It's going to. Another. Here's a decent good view of the park. So you can kind of see these climb, like inside this, there's climbers. You can see all these climbers along this wall. Even. And it all just matches with the shapes of this. So it ends up blending really well. So the other really cool thing is that this is perforated, but you could really do a personalized perforation. So you could have it say Rochester on there. You could have an image in that actually. So we have some really cool different ways of personalizing it. So if there was a way we wanted to maybe even memorialize Manitowoc Mountain in that, we take, the dragon or something head from that, we put it into that, and then it could kind of tie that back in, or we could type Manitowoc Mountain on that structure and it could say that on it. And it is tall like a mountain, right? Which is very cool. We also have, let's see. And do you guys have any other questions?
Just, do you have some pocket parks?
Yep. So these are some other ones that I had done. So this was one I had done. This one would be cheaper yet. This one would be around 100, not even 100,000. This was about 75. So this is just a small structure. This didn't have shade on it. We could add shade to it. And this is just a play booster that we did. So you can pick and choose whatever climbers you would like.
Show them too.
Yep.
Show them.
Okay, yeah.
So this is just a play booster line. So our play booster line, it's your typical post and deck. It's actually what Steve King, he started this whole continuous play with doing post and deck structures. He was the founder of LSI. And so what we have is tons of different climbers that you can pick out, you can choose. And so we could go and put 20 different types of variations of whatever it is you guys liked. And you guys have the catalogs. We can look through that and you say, hey, I really like page 134B. So this is just a nice small one. This has a 5-foot deck. It's not overly tall. And we did have a Omni spinner in there too, which is it's a nice spinner you can transfer into. It's at the perfect height for a wheelchair, so you can get in and out of it really easy. And you could fit a ton of kids in it.
What is it?
This
Oh,
right
that
here.
one. Yeah.
So you can see that you can go right up and it's
Mhm.
smooth edge and it has a nice curved back to it and a kind of pocket you can kind of sit in. And you can get into the middle of it and you can see there's times where I saw like 20 kids on one of those all hanging out together, right?
Mhm.
But this one was really good. This one was very far underneath your guys' budget, right? So even something like that would work.
Now, let me ask you,
Yep.
that 75,000, does that include the turf and everything?
So that wasn't, sorry, that one didn't have turf in it. This one I did, this one was with the engineer fiber. So these ones I showed you specifically for your parks, and these ones are kind of the ones that I have that I've just kind of done already for some other people that are just different playgrounds. So you can just see other types of playground equipment.
But the 75,000, does that include
That was,
the trim around it and the cover, or is that just for the two pieces of equipment?
no, so that was everything.
Okay.
These were plastic borders, and then that was just wood fiber in there. And this is it's a small one. We didn't take a ton of space with it. So wood fiber is not crazy expensive to put in. And we did plastic borders instead of doing concrete borders, which is something I believe that you guys, when we had discussed it in the previous ones, you guys were planning on doing some of the site work and potentially doing the borders, the curbing. So this one wasn't quoted that way. That's about the number with doing that. So, right, if you guys even wanted to do some of the other stuff, it might even get a little bit cheaper than that. There's that one.
I don't care for the fiber because you gotta do it every year and they took
Right.
it out and. Yeah, I'd rather throw in some turf or something so it's done and maintenance free.
This one. Treetops and Sprig. Let me see how much this one was. This was 220. So this was a little bit more than what we were at. But this one has this one would be a 2 to 5 and a 5 to 12. So this would be more if you wanted to just have kind of a bigger structure and a smaller structure somewhere. You don't have a bunch of other stuff in it. But this one did have, I believe this one was with turf. Down here. So the Treetops and Sprig, they're really neat. They have built-in shade. And they're a nature themed playground. So you'll see different leaf climbers and different sorts.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, and then so they're really, so we have the Sprig. There's actually a couple of them in Kokomo. Summers Park in Kokomo has a Sprig on there. They have a crab trap. They have also, that's really fun to go to. They have one of our Fit Core Extremes courses, which is like an American Ninja Warrior course. And it's really fun. It's like a workout course, and I've tried to get through it, and I can get through it to a point. But like I was trying to, like you do like monkey bars, but there's like balls, and you're trying to hold on to the balls with your hands, and I can't get through it. And Nick would probably kill me, but my very first day on the job, he took me out there and would show me around. And we have over/under bars, right, where you just like run and you jump over them, and you just go underneath it and you do that. And he runs. He said, "So these are like over/under bars." And he runs and jumps over it, and he clips his foot and face plants. I mean, probably the first couple hours of him and I getting to meet each other, and he does that, and he gets up. I didn't say a word, and he finishes out, and then we get back to the coach. He said, "You passed." He's like, "I just did that, and you didn't say a word." And now there's why I feel comfortable is because he's told that story basically anytime he gets a chance to. When we go past that, he always makes sure he tells everybody that story. But that would be a really good park to go check out because they do have a fitness in Summers Park in Kokomo. Kokomo has a lot of really good parks that we have done. Northwest Park would be another one. If you guys are all going to be up that way, go check out Northwest Park. You could check out Highland Park. They have an Odyssey Tower, which I think you guys also might think is really cool. That's kind of where we used to get our height out of our slides prior to having the Volo Air. You get 12-foot slides on that.
You call that Highland?
Highland, yep. And so most of these are all, 5-minute drives apart from each other. So you guys can hit quite a few of them if you ever wanted to go really see some really cool equipment. Yep, Highland Park, Jackson Morrow Park's another one we've done there. Jackson Morrow, yep. That's a really cool one. It's like the shape of Indiana, the playground is. And I just think that's really neat. Like the bordering is laid out like that. It's one of my favorites. But they have, the main structure there is an old one, but they had replaced the slides on it not that long ago. So they wanted to keep it. So we added in a few new pieces. There's a WeGo swing there. And then there is a small 2 to 5 structure that we just put in, new bows of swings. And then there's like a tower down at the bottom part of Indiana that's like a lunar burst. Then it's also functionally linked to a slide. So it's a pretty cool park. There is, if you're that way, Cornerstone Christian Church has a really nice one. It does have port in place, not turf, but you can go see it. It's like right out back of their church, and it's really nice. It's a really nice play booster. If you want to see what a play booster would look like, I would recommend going and checking that out. To do it.
Can't do that, I don't think, can we?
No, sure.
Yeah, not.
Yeah, yes.
We don't make any decisions, you're just going with it. Look at stuff.
Yeah, I would love to take you guys around.
Special things.
Do a play tour. We could make it a play tour, and we'll go get lunch.
I'm a visual, I gotta see it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
On all these things that you're showing us.
Yeah.
They're kind of in a sterile environment. It's just set alone. But I know in the Hummel Park in Plainfield, they have a new area, but that they also is incorporated some of the older stuff too.
Right.
So on most of these things, do most parks keep some of their older stuff that they could play on, like the swing sets and stuff like that?
It just depends if it's up to code. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. And in the case like in Jackson Morrow, they decided to keep it because it's pretty well to code. It wasn't, the decks aren't all getting rusted out. It was done recently enough so that there's not more than 2 threads of bolts being exposed. And then they'd also just put new slides on it. So they put a bit of money into it. So they didn't want to redo it then. But a lot of times you see most people just take everything out, depending on how long it's been. And or they will just do the new playground kind of in a different section. So that it's kind of separated by itself so that you're not incorporating old equipment that may be hazardous in with your new equipment. My only other thing is, so out in Greentown, we're doing one at a daycare and they wanted to really keep an old climber in there. However, we talked them into, you don't want to put that in there inside your turf and then all of a sudden that climber need to be ripped out. And then you're going to be going in and you're tearing that out of your turf. And then you're going to have all that extra cost in trying to replace that turf in that area. So it's really best to just, if you're going to go with like a wood fiber, I don't see it being as much of an issue because you can just scoot it back and you can pull out the piece of equipment and it's ready to come out. It has 5 years left in it, no big deal. Let it run its last 5 years. If you're going to go with a unitary surface like board in place or turf, I would recommend taking it out and just doing it all new because like I said, we kind of want to set it and forget it for 20 years and not have anything creeping up on you. That could, you don't want to put in a nice new playground and then some one piece in there not be compliant. And then a kid gets hurt doing something, they can come and pin something on you for that one piece being not a compliance too. So most of the time we'll see people just replace everything. Now, for instance, in Galveston, they had 12-foot swings. They don't want to get rid of those. We only go up to 10 foot. So they decided they want to keep their swings and they're just going to put surfacing underneath those swings for now. And that's their choice. So we see it go both ways sometimes, right?
I have a
Yep.
question. I hope this is a stupid question, but you know, like the swing sets that we have,
Mhm.
they are like so tall.
Right.
that- I mean, they're huge. Now, the newer ones that I see, they're shorter. And so I'm thinking in my head, because they are so tall, that means the kids can go out so much higher and it's more dangerous, so they brought them back down. Is
Yeah.
that correct or not?
Yes, and really, so your safety zones on swings is twice the height to and fro of the beam. Actually, it's from the pivot point, but that's right there at the bottom of the beam. So if you have a 10-foot tall swing, you're going to have 20 feet in front and 20 feet behind you. If you have a 12-foot swing, it's 24 foot and 24 foot. So you're looking at 48 feet by however wide just in safety space for your swings. And so the taller you get, the more space is going to eat up. And then that's just more surfacing that's going to be underneath of them.
Okay.
And so I think that's a little bit some of the reason why, but yeah, definitely we don't see the tall swings like you used to.
And then what is the warranty on the swings? I thought we talked.
So our posts, everything's a 100-year warranty on our posts and everything else is 15 to 20. I'd have to look up the exact warranty on what the swing is, but the frames and everything would be 100 years on the frames.
Screen too.
Oh, there you go. So Western Primary. Yep. You go out Western too, out there. That's us.
Yeah, I like the.
I graduated from Western.
Oh, that's too bad.
Where'd you go? So yeah, that's all Play Booster. Yeah, so this is the WeGo. This is out at Galveston. If you want to take a look at one of those in the field, that's in Galveston. It's got turf around it. This one has port in place. You can also do different Digifuse patterns on this. It has like 15 different Digifuse like themes. So you can have a farm theme. You could have a school theme. You can have an outer space theme. You can do your own personal ones. You can customize them. And you can have, say somebody donated to the park, you could put your sponsors on that. It's really pretty neat.
So
So
what's
really
that We Wobble thing do? Or would you?
The WeGo-round?
We go round.
So it spins.
Yeah.
It's like a merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round.
It's a merry-go-round.
Oh, okay.
This is an inclusive merry-go-round.
The ones we used to spin around.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. and
People off of.
Yeah.
Then you throw up.
Remember the one at the park?
Now, so
Tip?
underneath of this, there's a whole thing underneath of this that has 4 pistons that actually keep it from spinning too fast. So you can still spin it and get it going pretty good, but you're not gonna get it going like the old ones. You don't just sit there and just keep going and going and going, and everybody flies off of it and laughs, and then half the kids are hurt, and
All the fun, that element of danger was fun.
yeah. I still have vivid memories of my dad doing that to me. And on swings for that matter, him getting me up and I was basically hitting the trees. I remember being petrified as a kid, him doing that. That one I'd have to look up, but I can look up what. So this is a play booster, right? So this is like an Odyssey Tower. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So if you go to Highland Park, you'll see a really cool set of Odyssey Towers. So this is how we used to get our height. So you have a platform, big octagon, and you can put however many panels that you want and different climbers to come up and get up into it. And you can design whatever type of slide you want to come off of it. If you want a spiral slide, you can do that. You want a long one that comes out to the left and to the right, and then one that comes off. You can pretty much customize and make whatever you want. And even like all the slides, I don't really see anything on that one, but you can do individual sections. So you can have them straight and then go turn left and then go up two and then turn right. As you can really form the play booster to your space.
Right.
Yep. So you can kind of see how they have like the break. Like, so you can pick what angles you want to do that. So we can really shape slides however we want to go. So you can really fit it to your space exactly where you want it.
And Dwayne, you know, we were talking about how people have an attachment to Manitow Mountain and go back there, please. Oh, hang on a second. Yeah.
To the left.
That,
What?
That work?
you're good, or you can go back the other way, back one more. Yeah, okay, see how it's got that roof line, Dwayne, you know, it kind of looks like Manitow Mountain. I think everybody likes those three peaks when you pull up.
I think you guys
That-
would really like Highland Park.
That kind of has the same look to it. I think if we try to stick
See
with
if I can
something
pull- I
like
might be able
that.
to find it.
Just a minute,
It might be.
we're looking for JC Park right now, right? Not Manitow Mountain, JC Park. Let's get something simple for JC Park.
Okay, well, we just had a little bit of extra time and not a lot of people were here, so
So what
we're
I'm
just.
saying is, we're all over the place.
You don't have Highland Park here as a project, do you?
No. Maybe they've done that.
This is one we had done for JC Park. This was a treetops. So this has a couple of the same pieces with an omni spinner and a cozy dome.
And what do they do on the cozy dome?
So cozy dome, and climb over it,
Maybe
climb
we-
inside of it. The one thing we really love about that one is, some kids have issues with a lot of noise. And so you can kind of send that as your time in place. And so they go inside there. They can still be a part of the playground, but there's less noise inside that cozy dome. There's holes so you can still look out and see everything going on about. It also actually offers some shade too, a place for kids to crawl in.
What's that? Oh, that's a wheelchair.
Yep, this is just a wheelchair next to the Omni Spinner.
Maybe it was Northwest.
So this is one that we had presented for JC Park. So
Oh.
this was the 5 to 12 structure with a spinner and then
Yeah.
a little
that's what I
climber.
was thinking.
Mhm.
And you can see you have monkey bars. This is actually a really fun piece.
Are these like the sales like we're getting for the pool?
And that's like the shade fabric. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's the really good thing too, is that like LSI, they own Skyways and Aquatics. So we can do splash pads, we can do playgrounds, and we can do shades, but we can color coordinate everything. So if you get shades anywhere else, it can be the same color shades as elsewhere in your city. So this looks
I
nice.
like
that
that one,
way.
'cause it looks like they put it in the middle of trees and stuff.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you can see all that right there.
Just offhand, the one right up there, back one, if you go back one. Right there. Roughly, what does it cost for that?
One of those.
I don't know what all it's got, but
That tower is probably right around 100,000,
okay.
I would say.
just the tower, not the.
Just the
slide.
showers. Well, no, I mean like that beat of
That piece,
that
okay.
piece of that. Yeah.
Hey,
So I
okay,
could
so
show
you're- What
you-
you're doing is, you're pricing it piece by piece.
No, I don't. Just what I'm looking at in this picture right here. like this tower itself right there. So like, so I can price it right piece by piece,
No, I
like,
don't want that. I want a package deal.
right, right. Yeah, and that's everything I've been talking about is our package deal that you just asked me what that tower costs. So I don't know what that whole playground costs, but see, it's this, it's all of this, it's got a cozy dome. I could try to figure, I could get on here and look.
When
at
you
it.
say tower, that includes the slides too.
Yeah. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
it's the Yeah.
whole thing.
And that's
That's
not
the stuff,
included
that
in
must
the-
be.
But like there's decks and everything else in this. So decks are adding a lot of weight and freight costs too. There's something to be aware of. But yeah, I could look up and see how much Highland Park was total and when they did it, and I could probably even figure out how much it would be now based off of inflation.
And at the top, is that like an umbrella or is that a metal?
So that one would be this one up here.
Yeah.
That one would be plastic. These ones are shade fabrics.
Okay.
So that one's like a plastic top, and these ones are the shade
Gotcha.
sails. So
And
this
do they
was,
just leave those shade, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt.
you're fine.
Do they just leave them up year round
Yep.
or do you recommend?
So you
taking
can take them
down?
down. Obviously, if you take something down over winter, it's probably gonna last a little longer.
Mhm.
Those are the cool topper shades. But we have other ones that we do too. They have a rapid release system in them. And so what it is, 3 sides are fixed, and then the other side has basically like a hook on it. So you can hook it, and there's like a nut. You pull off the end cap of one of the sides, and it's got a big nut in there. You just put your impact drill on it, and you can move that hook in and out. So what we do is you get all the sides tightened first, and you put that one on, and then you just cinch it back down, and it pulls that hook back down that post, and then it tightens it down. And so that way you have an easy way. Come time for winter, you go back out, you loosen it back up, you run that stroke, that hook back up, and then that side loosens out, and you can kind of lift it off. You can take it off and store it for winter. Take it back and put it up.
That's pretty cool looking, isn't it? You like
I
that?
know Janet Foley, she just got some from me for their parks, and they're going to be putting them up. And it has the ratchet, the quick release on it too. So it comes in like another week or so. I don't know how fast they're going to put them up, but that'd be pretty close if you wanted to see one of those. It goes up relatively new, really quick. We also have tons of shade in Kokomo. You guys can come check out.
Okay.
This was another one of the playgrounds. This is one that I think you guys really liked last time. This was with the Beachcomber for JC Park. So there's a couple different. So this is just another one of our smart play lines. And
Oh, sorry.
you're fine.
I was looking at that.
Have you ever had any of
Something
them put
saying
up in
something
high
because of the
vandalized
keep
areas?
ties where you kill each other.
Yes, and I will tell you, I'll show you one that we like to put in places that get highly vandalized. The Qantas line that we have doesn't have a lot of flat space for people to just doodle and draw or put whatever they want to put on there. Let me pull it up. What was Hunter's Crest?
Qantas line. That's
The
on my
Qantas.
floor here. or not?
Oh, no, that's I don't know if it'll be. If I see one, I
Hydro
tell
Hub
you.
at Kokomo Beach, is that a water thing?
Kokomo Beach, yep,
Go down one more, couple more. Right, no, one
the
more.
Hydro Hub. Right here,
That's right there.
the Hydro Hub. Yep. Yep, we do those too.
Ah, hold on. Obviously, that's sand.
No, it's water.
Oh, the water, it's
Uh-huh.
keeps water
Yeah.
around it? Okay.
Yeah.
It looks like sand from the picture.
It's shallow water.
Yeah, I see that
Yeah,
now.
My
Uh-huh.
grandkids played on that.
Yeah.
They're 9 and 12 years old and they enjoyed that.
Yeah. I didn't know that place was down there. Kokomo Beach been down there forever.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah, it used to be called something else.
Oh, okay.
I forget.
I know, it probably was.
so like this would be something you could do for one that is like for high vandalism areas. So as you can see, there's not really any flat besides this little swing underneath here. There's not really a ton for them to draw on. And so this place was specifically having bad problems with graffiti and people coloring on it. So we went with dark colors so that, but then we noticed was where there was light tans, it was color all over, but then there was some dark green and dark blue and there's nothing written on it. It doesn't stand out.
It's,
So we did some darker colors on this to try to combat.
But besides graffiti, like right here
There's a lot
during
of-
this meeting, we had a porta potty overturned
Right.
and toilet papered.
Okay.
And then the last meeting, they ripped up a park bench. And then, I mean.
So I can tell you, Lexington, we just did a bus tour down there and they told us on that bus tour that they only use LSI equipment in their busiest parks because it's the only stuff that'll last. It holds up to the abuse. All of our cabling has like six braided steel line cables going through it. So you're not going to be able to cut that with a knife. We've had kids who try to sit there and try to saw at it, thinking they're going to cut this netting, and it's not possible for them to do that unless they have like a nitro blade on a Sawzall and a Milwaukee tool. You're not cutting through that. Yeah. Right. So no, and that being said, too, all of our equipment, like compare our equipment to others, and then like you compare the same standard product, and ours would be twice as heavy because all of our posts are a little thicker and our decks are thicker. They don't cut as much big holes out of them. So they're sturdy when you stand on them. Sometimes it's not teaching film flex. Ours don't do that.
That way, MCA. he-
Meadowlark Park. This one's really cool. That one has the Hedra. Look at that one.
If you had to get paint off of that material, like on a flat surface, will it stand up to it?
Yeah, so like these is all powder coated, right? And so yeah, powder coats is tough as it'll come, right? We also can get you guys touch-up paint. They always send touch-up paint with it.
Oh,
We usually do
okay.
the thing anyways, so you can just instantly do it. Yeah, that's a really cool playground.
That is fun. The one at
Meadowlark
Grand
Park.
Park.
So there's the Hedra. If you guys want to see go see one of the Hedras in person, that one's been installed for plenty of years now. I think that was 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. I think that's when we did that one. So you can go see how good a shape it's still in. I think it's tons of
Where's
playing in
that
Carmel, down in Carmel.
Carmel.
Yep. I would go, we do it. If you guys are going to go down to Carmel too, we could even make it a day. If you guys want to come to Kokomo and we'll go down to Carmel after and take some looks at some of them, I'd be 100% okay with taking you guys around, see them. Carmel does a bunch of parks with us. We have the largest playground LSI's ever done. Especially I shouldn't say the largest, it's the most expensive tower they've ever done. Going in Carmel off the Monon Trail. This next year, we just got done doing the footers for it. They're like almost 40-foot tall towers, and there's 2 of them that are connected with a big bridge, and there's all kinds of stuff to do in them. So it'll be really impressive to see. But LSI is really awesome when it comes to custom. So if we ever wanted to go a custom route, we can. It just the budget starts going up. But yep, they do. They do. Yeah, they do it all. They're pretty much strictly LSI and Play Pros, and call and ask them why. They'll tell you, right? We have great equipment, but we have better customer service. Ken will tell you every time she calls me, I'll answer the phone, right?
Yeah.
And you're never not gonna. You're
He
never
texts Me on Sundays, hey.
right.
Yeah.
Making sure. So.
appreciate it.
Like have faith that if you guys get something from us, if there's ever an issue, you reach out to me, you're going to have somebody here the next day, if not that same day, to make sure it's going to be going over smooth. Right. That's what I really take pride in. I don't. Yep. So yeah, so you guys can see a lot of really cool ones that we've done. But yes, like for flat surfaces, that's the Qantas line is awesome. You can get slides on those as well. The Qantas A2 has a slide, and it's not a plastic slide. It's got like it's like rails. So you sit on, you put your legs over the edges of it, and then you slide down. So that's even then you can really put that in a unsafe urban area, and it's gonna last.
They really are brutal. Like at JC, I ended up having Vic Smith fabricate the backboards for
Only
basketball.
about that, 'cause they kept
because
shooting them out.
They just wouldn't quit. Did you get some camera
Shade,
maybe?
it just looks so mature.
They have trigger cord.
So this
Oh.
one,
Catch 'em.
Yeah.
Bring back pictures of you trying stuff out.
you see the big smiles. It's like, oh, you know, that was fun. So like this was one we did. I did this one for Headwaters Church, up in Fort Wayne. This one has an Odyssey Tower in it. Omni spinner,
Church?
your molded bucket seat, regular swing, and a toddler swing. And then we had 2 bays for a zip cruise. Zip cruise is really fun too. They take up quite a bit of space, but
At the
it's a
church.
really fun track ride. So you can have your disc seat where you just sit on it like you know swing across the river when you're a kid, or you have like a molded bucket seat so you can have a kid be able to sit in it, strap them in so the kid with disabilities will be able to get that nice thrill of taking a track
Oh,
ride.
that's neat.
And then there's 36, 50, and 64. How long? There's 3 different lengths we can do, and then you can add a bay. And you can add a bay.
Churches, how they have money, okay.
Cicero, it's kind of close to where I live.
6,000.
He really wants one of those. His goal is to just, he has like the perfect budget to do one of them a year. So he's like, I want to do 3 of them. Like we're gonna do one here, and then we're gonna next year we're gonna do that one, and then we're gonna do another one. So it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It is one of my favorite ones to go on. And you'll see a line of kids. Kids will be waiting in line to go on this thing.
Some of the places that have mounds, is that?
Yeah.
Is that just a big pile of dirt and then put the surface on, or is it? something underneath?
Most of the time it's made of stone.
No.
Yeah, or concrete. But yes, so you can do it with dirt, and then you'll go, depending on what you're doing. Say if you're gonna do port in place, you don't want to do stone because the port in place isn't gonna really adhere well to that. And I could show you a picture of what happens if you do that. The turf is all gonna start sliding down, and you're gonna get stone and everything building up underneath of that, and you'll be able to see it. I don't have my phone with me. But yeah, it's there's certain ways you do it when you're using different materials. But yeah, if you do like a nice concrete thing, everything adheres to it really well. Versus so like if you were to do port in place, you would want to do it with a concrete, so that way it just sticks to it and it's not going to want to just sag and get pulled down.
You got like 6 or 8 parks around Kokomo and Galveston to look at in Western.
Right, there's a bunch of them.
They're close.
And it's on that one right there, what were you on, the championship one?
Yeah.
Because there's separate sections for the smaller children, because it had 2 to 5, Bryce?
Pardon me?
That been there, it said like 2 to 5 and 5 to 12.
Yes.
There's a separate little area for the younger
So
kids.
like this area right here,
Uh-huh,
that's called a motion, and that is a 2 to 5 structure.
okay.
And so that would be the area that they would play in. And so the way we design our playgrounds is you kind of have designated areas. So the 2 to 5 equipment will be in this area. You can't mix and match. Some equipment, the Cozy Dome is a 2 to 12. So it can kind of be your middle point. And if you look, when you know that, like you'll look at some of these signs like, oh, well, that makes sense. That's over there by that, because it can be shared by both the bigger kids and the little ones. So you kind of like to try to put those along the divider. That way you kind of know like this is the other side. The little kids, they can kind of commingle here, and then you can get over to the bigger kids on this side of it.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is a motion. This part right here is you can kind of see it coming down. That's a Hot Wheels track. Which is when I was a kid in elementary school, I wanted to go out to the playground and take my Hot Wheels and race with my friends with them. But I just thought it was neat that they did that. Although I've now said you need to make it a double track, because nobody wants to race one car; they want to race 2. So I'm also trying to get them to put that on the Volo Air, have like a little
If I can't.
spot at the top. It's like 5 feet tall. You put it in there, and you have a kid at the top 2 down at the bottom tell you who won. Right. So I've already been feeding them all kinds of fun ideas to hopefully they incorporate it into it. But yeah, so this is another one. So this, I was just going to show you this one because this is the structure that is at Kokomo, the Crossroads Church. I just reutilized it for another one, and it also has the that motion. And as you see here, this area was done with turf. This area where the swings were at, we just decided we'll do that as wood fiber. Just to save the space and save on budget, because swings take up such a large area. It gets really expensive to put turf underneath the swings. So if you can move those out to a separate area, which we had, this was just kind of put in there so you can see it. This was actually going to be kind of angled off back this way and a little bit further away from it. They have a bunch of grassy area too. And so we just saved them some cost by separating out the swings from the rest of the equipment. And then we could just do wood fiber underneath a section of it. Instead, that saved them, I don't know how much that would
Is that
be.
what you're talking about here,
$40,000 potentially,
Yeah.
right?
What you're talking about here?
Yep. So that's poured in place, and right there, yep, that's it. So this is at the church. There in Cookville, they have a little swing, a friendship swing, and then the playground structure itself is a play booster. And so the cool thing is if you didn't like a specific piece, like you didn't like this climber, we could take that off and put something different there. Right? If you wanted another climber up from this way, we could do that. So everything's really customizable to exactly what you want. If there's something you see, we can probably do it. The motion is one of my favorite 2 to 5 structures. It's a really fun piece. Kids climb all over it, through it. Yeah. This is a Revy rocker here. You sit and you can kind of rock all different ways, and yeah. That our website does have a lot of really nice. So yeah, by all means, I would love to take you guys out to go look at other parks. We can pick apart some pieces that you guys really like, and go from there.
Would you be up for that, Mitch, to go look at?
Kind of just depends when you go, but,
Spend an afternoon, you could take us around to some of these and come up. It just helped me a lot to go and look at stuff.
Well, it's good to get on it and feel the equipment, feel how sturdy stuff feels, see stuff that's been installed in the field for a while and see how it's looking still. This was another little structure that I think would actually be a really nice structure for a pocket park. I did this one a couple times now. This is one of the first ones that I ever designed with Nick. And they don't take up a ton of space, but you see, you added some music equipment.
turn, I can't see it.
And how much was something like that?
I'll
Do you
look
know?
on here real quick and see.
Okay.
Okay.
Just different. So they had some different panels and different climbers up top, the double race and slide down.
Nice size.
Right, and that's like a good size.
Yeah, well, maybe just a couple other things.
Area, that's what's.
Right, so I could tell you what that
They
one
have
was
nursery
with turf.
school.
Is they,
Dumped in
that one with turf was 129.
Which are, and what was the size of that?
Part of it.
What was the size of it? Do you know?
I could get that all for you. Let me see.
Dwayne, do we have any,
Model.
that, like that giraffe and that, do we have any?
So there was about
playground
1,300
equipment
square
that's
foot.
in storage somewhere, or is it all? good?
The
So you
stuff
can
we've
see-
taken out, we still
There's
have.
about a 1,300 square foot area. That's like the overview, top view of it. And now that 129, we also had these panels off to the side and music equipment. If you wanted to just axe those
It's
out,
gonna
that
have
has some
something
cost
going
down.
on, and I was like, if we're not
Um,
using.
Turf
it,
would still be the
I'd
same
rather
because it's like basically the same footprint, but
Right.
technically, I guess it
I
would
wouldn't
be, you
get rid of
could
it
cut that
until,
out and bring
you
it
know,
up,
we
so
could
it'd be
do
a
it
little,
in black
shave off a
field
little
or
bit.
something.
Turf's on hard surface with rubber balls.
The turf goes across on, so there'll be you'll dig everything out, you do a 4-inch layer of stone. You have 4 inches of stone, and then you have your foam pad that goes over that stone. Then you have the
These
turf.
6-inch screws that stick out, rip your.
It was close to the sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
I do really like this piece.
But you mean.
I think that would put you right in your guys' budget.
Didn't know what it looked like.
right around
I don't
there, especially if we were to
remember
take these pieces out and put swings instead. Or if you like just having that, if you want swings, you can do
what
that.
to do with it.
Mhm.
Do they climb on it?
The only thing that adding swings to this, if we kept it in the turf, it would raise that cost
No,
because of being inside of
Mhm.
the,
so
inside of.
future reference, what's that called? Number wise or what?
For this one,
Well,
this playground,
I mean, separate that.
this was one I did for One Church Kokomo, down in Kokomo.
True.
But I did it at Winona Lake. That one I didn't
Yeah.
go install at Winona Lake church. So you could name either one of those. and I'll remember what you're
I
talking
don't know how far
about.
over. I know we just annexed it
Yeah.
last year. I'll have to look at the map.
Well, I'll at least come to go.
Not city property, but it's city, in city limits.
By all means, yeah, I'd love to take everybody.
Because I
know.
You know, I would hope that we all could.
You have a lot of property out there, actually.
No, with a turf like that, you can add other items after.
So it depends on where you want to put it. So when I design our playground, I'd want to not have open spaces, right? So if you like, look at this,
Well, we're restricted to size.
right? So you can always add in later, if you wanted to. But if you have your curbing poured, you could just then say, hey, your curbing's already there. We'll utilize this side of this curbing and we'll just add on to this side of it.
Okay.
And then you already have one of your sides already kind of
Okay.
poured,
Yeah,
right? And then you
okay.
can just kind of have that piece
Do
there. in the middle, so
you, do you think that concrete curbing is better than the plastic?
I would say so, just longevity. And also with your doing turf, you would really want to do the concrete because they can nail their nailer boards to it and they use a composite board instead of even engineered wood, instead of a pressure treated. So composite's not going to ever rot out. Your concrete's not going to rot out.
Yeah.
So you're really, that's your best bet. If you go with plastic borders, it tends to want to like
I've seen
move
that.
off
I
and you see
wasn't-
gapping and
I wasn't.
we do our best 'cause with our plastic borders, the way I always do it, or I try to do it, is I'll set the borders, so they're 12-inch borders, I'll set them 6 inches in the ground. So they're like this, I'll bring them 6 inches in,
Mhm,
but all that 6 inches to be excavated, I'll bring to the outside and build it down.
mhm.
So you have a nice entry point all the way around your playground. Instead of, you'll see some of them and they just have a big black square sitting on top of the ground with one ramp that
that's what
goes
I
into
saw.
it. And then you have a kid in a wheelchair can only go in one way.
Right.
And we do it so that it actually raises the playground out of the ground 6 inches, but you don't know it because it's all tapered down along all the edges.
Okay.
So you have a nice entryway into your playground from all sides. So
Okay.
that's the way we like to do that.
Okay.
We do the same thing with the concrete, right? We can do the same thing with that so that we can taper down the edges and have a nice entry point into everywhere. And then, yeah, whenever you wanted to add anything to, you would just have maybe a center seam where you had your curving poured, and then we just go on the other side of it. But that curve is going to be far enough away from any other place of the piece of
Okay.
equipment. So then you do the same thing on the other side of it, and you'd be good.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm ready.
All right.
Dwayne, can we do the stonework if we do something like that?
We can do the clearing, as far as the prep work for it. As far as the dirt work, I guess if we have a set of plans or something, specifications on how it needs to be done, we may be able to, if it's not too involved.
Right. I can supply all of that
Oh,
too.
you'll supply that, right?
Yep, yep. I give you all the instructions of what it would need to be, depths that you need to excavate to go to when we get here for it. So yeah, I can do all of that. We can have that all situated. I can come out and even help you guys a little bit on.
So when you're
making sure it's
showing
good.
us that stuff and you give us the price on it, that is not installed, that is on top of that,
Most of these I've done was us installing.
you install.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there was between you and I, the assumption that you guys would do like some of the
Clearing out.
clearing and
Yeah.
doing the curbing yourself. So some of this wasn't, so like some of the ones I have showed you tonight did include some of that because it wasn't for you guys specifically.
Mhm.
It was already in like that one, the 130 was us installing it with everything, right? So it just depends on what it is, but I will always give you guys the numbers for it and I can show you what the cost would be for us to do it. And that way, you guys would know, hey, this is how much we saved by having Dwayne do it instead.
Right.
And then give him a bonus for the difference.
I just delegated.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. All right. You guys have any other questions?
I do have one question.
Yep.
You keep talking about code. What code exactly are you talking about?
So like CPS C and or ASTM codes. So ASTM is like a federally agreed upon kind of code system for how you should upkeep your playgrounds.
So it's more industry standards and.
It's an industry
guidelines,
standard and
not
guidelines.
exactly Legal codes.
So legally, yes, it's not a legal law. However, it's kind of like if you have been made aware of the issues, they can make that discoverable in a court of law. So if somebody was to get hurt, they would be able to say, did you guys have any knowledge of this? Then you guys would be forced to supply, like Nick's CPSI report saying this is what was wrong. This was the date we reported it was wrong. You guys knew about it. This kid got hurt off of these things, right? And I think that's, in my opinion, I think that every town should just have somebody who's CPSI certified, right? So at Play Pros, they want us all to be that. So that's why we just had 7 people go, and only 2 of us were doing it for the first time. The other ones were just redoing their license, and they do that every 3 years. That being said, they are changing it now to where you don't have to retake the test every 3 years. You can do continuing education, like most other things you're allowed to do, to keep your license. They're making that change. But yes, there were 7 of us. Justin, one of our owners, Chris, another one of our owners, he was just there. We all took it as a group. But I think it's a very beneficial thing to do, because it does open your eyes a lot to things that you don't really think about. And, I grew up on tons of unsafe playgrounds. Thinking back on it, I'm like, wow, how did I make it through that? Right. And some kids don't. And so that's why they have those laws and regulations now, because there have been ample kids that have died from it. And so they say, hey, that's why we need to have the impact safety from, for port in place needs to be 5.5 inches thick at this fall height. Right. And so they've gone through and they've done all the tests. They do a Hick test, which is a sphere, basically the same size of a kid's head, and they put it in a device and they'll drop it. And when it hits the ground, it'll tell you how many G's and stuff it has on it. So you want to keep it underneath 200 G's or underneath 1,000 Hick. So there's all these different things you're going to learn in CPSI that kind of opens your eyes to all of this. So I do think it's something that'd be very beneficial, even if one person from town wanted to go take it, just to stay on top of the playgrounds. I know I was just in Wabash, and Adam Hall, he's their parks director. Him and his number 2, they just both went and did it. It's not a requirement for their town or anything, but they both felt like, hey, we both need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to make sure these kids have a nice, safe place to play. So they both went and took the test. And so that he was then talking about how he was at his playground, and that's why I got the call from him, because he noticed a few things that he needed to fix. And if he didn't know that, then maybe the kid could have got hurt on it, right? So yeah.
Okay, so I did talk to Bryce about that. There is a CPI certification class in Greenfield, and it's 12/2 to 12/4. Dwayne?
November 2nd. Yep, I'm aware of it.
Yeah, so I thought that would be.
That's what we'll talk about, and that's what I'm looking at.
What church was that put up to?
The one that you liked? The
one we just talked about, yeah.
Yep, that's in Winona Lake.
Yeah,
so it's a
which
bit
church?
far away. Winona Lake Grace Church.
Grace?
Yep.
There at the college?
They did a new building, so I'm not sure exactly right next to the college or not. I could probably pull up the address and look at it, but yeah, wherever they just did a really new big addition up there. So if you want to make a drive up there.
Yeah, it gives you a good excuse to go eat.
There you go. You got a good place up there to eat.
Yeah, right on.
Chop.
What's it called? Now you got me intrigued.
What is
I'm
it,
gonna think of there.
Dockside?
Dockside.
Outside
Okay.
and
See, Warsaw's really close to us.
Cerulean is
It's
also.
true. Yeah, I guess I am.
You're thinking.
I'm thinking I'm still south,
Okay,
right?
when you said it's way over.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay. Yeah.
5 miles.
They have a really cool indoor playground. So we did port in place there, because it's indoors. That's what they really wanted, and So we did do a pouring place there. So yeah,
So this
I'm
is a
sure they
different one, the
would.
one that was right on the lake itself with a big splash pad and all that you're talking about, something.
Yeah, this one doesn't have a splash pad. It was just a small
Oh, okay.
playground. They have all kinds of other stuff in there too.
Yeah,
They have like
okay.
interactive floor and walls and all kinds of other stuff in that place. They spent a lot of money on that church. Very neat. But yeah, it's all put in. So you guys are probably warm welcome to go up there. I'm sure they would gladly show you. Anything else from you guys?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
A lot of
Yeah.
information.
You guys for taking the time to talk with me.
Thank you.
And I would love to, like I said, if all you guys want to come
You buy
up, we
lunch?
can 100%. We'll go get lunch.
Awesome.
We'll get a really good one. That is probably one of my favorite things about this job, is driving around and
Trent and then Dwayne, which usually Dwayne already knows about it, but that's that certified playground safety inspector.
Right, they do them Texas,
Pardon?
they do them all over. I think this year, the one at Greenwood is the last one this year in Indiana, but they do them all over the United States.
Right, Bryce and I just, Bryce, where did you take yours at? Bloomington, yeah. So he looked it up for me, and Greenfield that's over on the other side of Indianapolis. Yeah. So, and that was still this year, so,
Yep.
and I thought maybe that might be a good date, but, pardon? What?
So I'm
It's
already
already
on
on
it.
it.
That's like I said, that's what I prefer to send him to, is to that.
Hey,
Thank you. Yeah, it works.
Can I go through a couple things real quick?
yes, please do.
Right, Serena from the Purple Tent of Hope, she is gonna be at the pavilion out at the lake this weekend. And, she wanted to put up her purple tent, but she's not putting in stakes or anything, they got sandbags, so. She just wanted to make sure, and I want to make sure, and she knew she's not putting in stakes or anything else, so, she gave that. And then also just looking at all the things and everything else, and even coming up with this, where we're going over to Muncie for this, show. On the budget, Beth, we probably need to put in professional development and training. I'm even looking at like the police budget, and they have that.
Yeah.
And we're talking about
We got a
sending
fund for
people
that.
to
I
the,
thought you would put
Yeah,
some
we
in
have
that
it.
this
There's
year.
a fund for that,
is there?
yeah.
Well, Beth and I,
Let's
I
see.
didn't see one.
you didn't see one doing,
It's the same one that we sent, AJ and Lee down to, what, Alabama, was it?
Yeah, or a Florida.
Or Florida, one of the two?
I did.
$6,000 for travel and instruction.
Yeah.
Oh, travel and instruction?
Mhm.
Okay, that's where.
anything else?
Okay. Good.
Back on the, like, we were talking about the safety stuff, that was one thing, and I brought this up at the budget meeting, but I just wanna bring it up again. The street department has a program called Violytics that we use for grading the streets and keeping track of like street signs. We can do inventories and it also track maintenance, and we can do work orders off of it. It also has a piece in there that we can use for the parks. And I'm getting with Violytics to come down to get that put on the computer we have at the park maintenance building. So that'll provide us the ability to digitally track all of our park equipment, and also it will provide a place for documentation for regular inspections and for any maintenance that we do. So we have all that in a digital form instead of, writing it in a notebook or trying to keep track of it in paper documents. So that's one thing that we'll start after the first of the year. So that we get that there's not a limit on the number of, like, a lot of programs, there's like so many computers, you got to buy so many licenses. We can basically piggyback park off the street department's budget for that.
Back to the, and I know you've been busy, and I know Ed Waltz. Did I say that? Ed Waltz, isn't he the electrician?
Bill Walsh.
Oh, Bill
Walsh,
Waltz, sorry,
Bill Walsh.
yeah. I ran into him the other day and he was telling me about the electrical at the park, that it really wasn't, it was pretty good, which I was glad to hear that. And then, he had said that you had talked to him about running or finding out the wire to run out to, the butterfly garden and, yeah, and the other two pavilions. So is that, something that we can still get done this year? Okay, all right. I know he said he'd been really busy and I know you've been really busy too.
So that's want to verify with him, because I did the calculations for what size wire and all that. And
Okay.
I just wanted to verify with him that that was correct, which it was. And then, it's just a matter of getting that ordered now.
Okay. Do you like run that underground?
Yeah, we'll trench it. The biggest challenge we're gonna have is where we connect it inside the mechanical room. Because we've already got existing sidewalk back there, and then we're gonna have to get through.
Oh,
To get the wire back from there, so. We'll probably have to dig a hole underneath the sidewalk there, and then Landon's gonna have to crawl in that hole and.
good idea. Yeah. Okay, so we don't have electricity at that pavilion there either, correct? Yeah, so can we go off of the bathroom also for the pavilion, or are we overloading or?
No, there's plenty of room in the circuit breaker box for.
Okay. Okay,
Well, while we're on the wiring, you and I talked about the vandalism over there at the JC Park. And we're putting in a piece of equipment that's not gonna be cheap. We need Wi-Fi and you need electricity.
And so the challenge there is we don't have there's no power at all there. So that means we'll have to drop a service somewhere to put a circuit board, a circuit breaker box and also a meter base. And then, once we have power there, then we're gonna have some place to put Wi-Fi router. And then also we'll have to put locations for the cameras and that sort of thing. So, we'll have quite a bit invested in that,
Well-
I'm gonna guess you're probably looking at.
I understand that, but it's something that needs to be looked at and programmed for 26. Because it's not gonna stop, So they're gonna tear up whatever we put in and then, it's just, throwing money out the window. And of course, they're not gonna do nothing to them because, it's not important, to the police department, evidently. At least that's the way it was, related to me when I asked the chief about it. And, it's kind of disgusting. They tear up the water fountain, they turn over, a porta pot. Of course, that's not on us. I mean, the poor people that's got to clean it up to put it back on the truck, and it's ongoing. I mean, the same way out to the city park. And, somewhere along the line, something has to be done to somebody, even if you just shake them up to make sure that they know what's going on,
Like I say, we gotta identify them.
Well, can't identify them if you can't see them,
I did that.
Uh,
I mean, I mentioned to him, at the first step we can do is put an under surveillance signs on the park, just let them think that they're being surveyed until we get something further along.
all that does is tell the people
Times-
what to look for.
Or we could say we're bringing back public hanging,
It's like you got a security,
That's what.
you got a security system at your house, so they stick a sign in there. Security by NIPSCO, okay? Well, hey, go walk around to the telephone wire, cut it, now you don't have NIPSCO to be to
I
notify.
had my farm shop robbed about 3 times and I put magnetic signs on all the doors that under surveillance 15 years ago. I haven't had an incident since. I don't have any surveillance, but I got the sign.
The tree, there at the, park or by the walking path. They had a little flag there with the, I don't know exactly what it said on there. But twice they tore it down. This time they really tore it down, you know? I mean, it's just BS is what it is. And, you know, I'm afraid if I catch a kid doing it, I wanna grab him. And you can come and get me in jail, okay? But, you know, we're paying for it, you know? And we sit here and talk about it, and nothing gets done, you know? They won't do nothing. Why are we spending the money on cameras? You know?
Well, I think the first step we need to do is maybe get some signs, put the signs up, that acts as a deterrent. You know, and the thing is it's not 99% of the people is doing what they should. It's the 1% of the person who's doing it. You know, and there was incidents over by the city pool. Once the people moved out or whatever, there was no more incidents. So it's one, maybe two families over there. And you know, deterrent is the first step and the cheapest step to go. And I would say we get Dwayne, I'm not sure if you want to take that ball and just get some signs.
Yeah.
And we could put up over there. And then, you know, whether we get the cameras or whatever, we still need electricity over there. That would be a good thing to get electricity over there. So we can't do anything until we get the electricity. So the next step, in my opinion, is you already got a grip on it and going with it. We get the electricity and then take it from there.
So
Go ahead.
my suggestion is to, if you're still planning on wanting to put a permanent bathroom in, we're gonna need power for that. So I would say that would probably be the time that we would do it and just include that in the cost. We would have to anyway. We'd have to include that into the cost of putting the bathroom in. That would give us a centralized place for power. It also give us a place to put the Wi-Fi equipment in and that sort of thing for the cameras. So that's where I would look at that. If you're still wanting to go that way, then that would probably be, you know, the best time to do it. So.
And something I was gonna point out was that, you know, you're saying, and I agree with you, it's one or two, you know, bad apples. But it was X number of years ago that, I mean, how many, Dwayne, that I had those stainless steel backboards made that they were shooting them out every time, you know, and that's been how many years ago? Yeah, and we still, I mean, he'd put one up and they'd shoot it out and, you know, they literally ripped up 2 picnic tables and then they tore I don't see it, stopping. I think we just have to do as much as we can to try and keep it from, and I think that's excellent, is to go ahead and get some signs up whether we have anything or not. And maybe at the other parks too, that we don't have electric. Can we do that, Dwayne? Just put signs up there too? We could work for.
And we really haven't had much problem with Fansler, and really any of the other parks. It's city parks some, and it hasn't been much this year, I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, in the past, we've had some issues, but,
Okay.
yeah, JC right now seems to be where it's always at. So.
There's not a water fountain at Fansler, is there?
No, not right now.
That's something that should be put on there too, look into.
Yeah, you know, we looked at that. There was one on the back side of the bathroom building, because the accesses for the water and all that are still there. There was one back there one time, but, it's just kind of fallen off our radar, but we had looked at that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else? No? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Make a motion. Somebody wanna make a
I
motion?
motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. But,
Two button.
Thank- two done. One.
Yeah.
Do you want me to push leave?